Colorado weather can be unpredictable, and Littleton is no exception. It can rain a lot in May, hit 70 degrees in December, and sometimes the biggest snowstorms of the year actually happen in March or April. If you're thinking about relocating to Littleton or anywhere in the Denver metro area, understanding the weather can really help you know what daily life can feel like. The climate affects everything, from how you dress during the day to how you take care of your yard or even how you plan outdoor activities. Hi, I'm Ewelina, and together with my husband Simon, we help buyers and sellers all across the Denver metro area. We've lived here for over 25 years, so this isn't just where we work, it's home. We help a lot of people relocating to Colorado from other states, as well as local homeowners who are ready for their next move. Most of the questions we get are really about lifestyle, not just the house itself. So today we're talking about what the weather is really like in Littleton. Number one, Colorado has a very dry climate. One of the biggest things people notice when they move to Colorado is how dry the climate is. Littleton sits at about 5,300 feet above sea level, and because of that, the air holds much less moisture than in many other parts of the country. If you're coming from somewhere humid like the Midwest, the South, or the East Coast, the difference can feel pretty dramatic. During the first few weeks after moving here, people often experience dry skin, dry lips, and dry eyes. Many residents end up using humidifiers in their homes, especially during the winter months when indoor heating makes the air even drier. But this dry climate also has some benefits. The lack of humidity is one of the reasons the weather here often feels more comfortable than people expect, both in the summer and in the winter. Number two, winter is often milder than you might expect. When people think about Colorado, the first thing they usually imagine is winter and snow. And yes, we definitely get snowstorms, but winters in Littleton are actually a lot milder. A big reason for that is the amount of sunshine we get and how dry the air is. Even in the winter, we have a lot of bright, sunny days, and the sun can warm things up more than you would think. So even when temperatures are lower, it usually doesn't feel as cold. Now, even though winters are pretty mild, they can still last several months. We can see our first snow as early as September or October, and it's not unusual to still get snowstorms in March or even April. But it's not continuous winter the whole time. Those snow days are usually broken up with long stretches of sunny, comfortable weather in between. It's very common to get a snowstorm one day, and then the next day the sun comes out and temperatures start warming up. And because the air is so dry, snow usually melts pretty quickly. We can also get some surprisingly warm winter days. Even in December, it's possible to see temperatures climb into the 60s or even around 70 degrees. Another thing you will notice pretty quickly is how people dress during the winter. It's not unusual to see kids going to school in shorts or t-shirts on those sunny days. Most people don't wear heavy winter coats every day. Jeans, sweatshirt, and maybe a light jacket are usually enough unless you're outside for a long time. My son even wears Crocs most of the winter, snow or no snow. And it's also worth knowing that the true heavy winter weather in Colorado usually happens up in the mountains where the elevation is much higher. Number three, summers can get hot, but they feel different. Now, let's talk about summer for a minute. Summers in Littleton can definitely get hot. During July and August, temperatures often reach the 80s and 90s, and most summers we usually get at least a few days where temperatures climb above 100 degrees. But because the air is so dry, the heat feels very different compared to humid climates. If you ever experienced summer in places like Florida or Texas, you know how sticky and heavy that humidity can feel. In Colorado, even when the temperature is high, standing in the shade often feels much more comfortable. Another thing people notice is that mornings are usually quite pleasant, even in the middle of summer. You might start the day with cooler temperatures before the afternoon heat arrives. Because of the elevation and dry air, temperatures also tend to cool down fairly quickly once the sun goes down. Colorado is known for having big temperature swings between daytime and nighttime. So even after a hot afternoon, the evening air often becomes cool and comfortable. That's one reason summer evenings are such a nice time to be outside. You will often see people walking, biking, sitting on patios, or spending time in parks once the temperatures start dropping. Number four, ways people cool off during the summer. When the weather gets hot, people in Littleton have plenty of ways to cool down. One of the most popular places nearby is Chatfield State Park, and that's where I am today. The Chatfield Reservoir is a favorite destination for swimming, paddleboarding, boating, or simply spending time near the water. Early in the summer, the water can feel pretty cold because it's fed by snowmelt coming from the mountains, but later in the season, it warms up and becomes much more comfortable. Another great way to cool down is heading toward the mountains, where temperatures drop quickly as you gain elevation. Hiking and camping are very popular summer activities, although many campgrounds require reservation, especially during the busy summer season. Okay, as you're listening to all of this, you're starting to think, I could actually see myself living here. I did put together a relocation guide that you might really enjoy. It's not about buying or selling, it's just about life here in Littleton. Things to do, parks, restaurants, weather, and things people don't always think about before moving. It's free and I will link it below. Number 5, summer storms and hail. One thing you will notice about summer weather in Colorado is that mornings are usually clear and sunny. But in June and July or even August, clouds often start building over the mountains in the afternoon, and those storms can move east toward the Front Range, bringing quick thunderstorms to places like Littleton, Denver, and Aurora. When these storms arrive, the rain can come down extremely hard, almost like someone dumped a bucket of water out of the sky. Colorado is also known for hailstorms, and hail can sometimes be the size of marbles or even golf balls. When hail hits, it can damage roofs, cars, windows, and landscaping, which is why roof replacements are fairly common here. 6. School schedules and pool season. Another interesting thing about summer here is how school schedules and the weather don't always match up perfectly. Most schools finish the school year around Memorial Day weekend. That's also when community pools usually open. But late May and early June can still feel pretty cool in Colorado, so you will often see kids jumping into pools when the air temperature still feels chilly. Then the opposite happens later in the summer. Kids usually go back to school in August, which is actually one of the hottest months of the year, and community pools usually close after the Labor Day weekend, even though September and sometimes even October can still be warm and sunny. Number 7. Fall in Colorado is beautiful but often short. Fall can be one of the most beautiful times of year in Colorado. After the heat of summer, temperatures begin to cool down and the air starts to feel crisp and refreshing. One of the most famous parts of Colorado fall is the aspen trees turning bright yellow in the mountains. Every year, people drive into the mountains just to see the fall colors because the views can be absolutely stunning, with entire hillsides turning bright gold. Even around Littleton, you will start to see beautiful fall colors in parks, neighborhoods, and along many walking and biking trails. The cooler temperatures also make it perfect for hiking, walking, or just enjoying the crisp air. But fall in Colorado can also be fairly short. It really depends on when the first freeze arrives. If temperatures stay mild, fall can last several weeks and people get to enjoy the changing colors for quite a while. However, if a cold night arrives early or we get a strong windstorm, the leaves can disappear very quickly, and before long, most of the trees can already be empty. Number 8. Spring in Colorado can be very unpredictable. Spring in Colorado can be one of the most unpredictable seasons of the year. As winter starts to fade, you'll often begin seeing beautiful warm days where temperatures reach the 60s or even the 70s. And it suddenly feels like winter is finally over. People start spending more time outside, trees begin to grow new leaves, and it can feel like spring has officially arrived. But then, a few days later, a snowstorm can move through and remind you that winter isn't quite done yet. In fact, some of the biggest snowstorms of the entire year actually happen in March or April. These spring storms often bring heavy, wet snow that can accumulate quickly and sometimes weigh down the tree branches because the snow is much heavier than typical winter powder. The good news is that because Colorado gets so much sunshine, the snow usually melts fairly quickly once the storm passes. And before long, the warmer spring weather returns again. And if you really want to see rain in Colorado, just wait till May. It's usually our rainiest month. Number 9. The growing season is short. Because spring snowstorms and freezing temperatures can happen late in the season, the growing season in Colorado is shorter than in many other states. Most gardeners wait until late May or early June before planting vegetables or flowers outside. Even if daytime temperatures start feeling warm earlier in the spring, Nighttime temperatures can still drop below freezing, which can damage young plants. Because of that, many people keep a close eye on the weather forecast before planting anything in their gardens. Some gardeners also start plants indoors or use greenhouses so they can extend the growing season a little bit. And by early fall, nighttime temperatures can start cooling down again, so the window for growing plants outdoors is fairly short compared to many other parts of the country. Number 10. Sunshine and the outdoor lifestyle. One of the best parts of Colorado weather is the sunshine. Colorado gets an incredible number of sunny days each year. Many people say we get more sunshine than San Diego, which surprises a lot of people when they first hear it. Because of the higher elevation, the sun is also stronger here, which is why many residents wear sunscreen year-round, even during the winter months. All of that sunshine makes it easy to enjoy the outdoors almost any time of the year. No matter if it's hiking, biking, skiing, or just going for a walk around your neighborhood, people here spend a lot of time outside. You will often see people out on trails, in parks, or heading into the mountains on weekends because the weather makes it possible to enjoy outdoor activities most of the year. For many people, this combination of sunshine, mountains, and easy access to outdoor recreation is one of the biggest reasons they love living in Colorado. So if you're thinking about moving to Littleton, here is the big picture. Colorado has a dry climate with lots of sunshine. Winters are milder than many people expect. Summers can get hot, but feel comfortable because of the dry air. Fall is beautiful but often short, and spring can bring some surprisingly big snowstorms. But for many people, the sunshine, mountains, and outdoor lifestyle are exactly why they love living here. And again, if you're thinking about relocating to Littleton, make sure you download my free relocation guide in the description below. And if you have questions about moving or buying a home in the area, feel free to reach out anytime. I help people relocate to Colorado all the time, and I will be happy to help you.